Within my role at UKC, I get to review a lot of climbing shoes, and generally speaking these days, the standard is very high. Occasionally, I'll review a very poor performer, Naiad mark. Very occasionally, I get to review something that is truly special, and the last shoe I did that for was the Instinct S by Scarpa. Now, Scarpa have done it again with the Vapour S, and within this video, we'll be talking about why. The Vapour S joins Scarpa's extremely popular Vapour family, consisting of the Vapour V, the strap, and the Vapour lace. The lace. These have been extremely popular because they suit the needs of the vast majority of climbers. They are, you could say, a mid-range shoe. They're very comfortable, but equally they've got a little bit more oomph when it comes to performance. Now, ironically, I didn't get on with the Vapour V. For me personally, it felt a little imbalanced in between the front and the back. And in comparison, the Vapour S feels like it has perfect equilibrium. Anyway, big chat to one side, what does all of that mean? Now let's get back to basics. The Vapour S has a slightly downturned, relatively flat last. It's got a lower volume toe box, but with quite a bit of breadth to it, although it's worth mentioning that this is the men's version and a women's low volume version is also available. Now, in terms of the way this should feel whilst on, your foot should maintain a fairly relaxed position within them. You want your toes to be engaged, but you don't want them knuckled up against the end. These should, after all, be comfortable. And the thing that's been most noticeable about these is that comfort straight out of the box. Now, over the last few whiles, I've reviewed a couple of other differing slipper shoes, the Upmark by Unparallel and the Naiad Mark by 510. Both of those took quite some time to wear in, but these hit that sweet spot pretty much from the moment you get them onto your feet out the box. And not only are they a step up in terms of the comfort, but they're also a step up in terms of the performance. The balance also comes from their ability both to edge and to smear. They feel, as a result of the full-length sole and full-length midsole that's offering additional support, to provide your foot with a stable platform whilst edging, but not to the detriment of sensitivity. This is, whilst being supportive, also quite a soft and malleable shoe. It's a remarkable all-rounder. And in the words of another member of staff at UKC, they punch above their weight. It's a comfort shoe that you could use while circuiteering in font, climbing easier problems, but at the same time, go up to harder projects still with these on, because they have the ability to perform at both levels. The addition of the M50 toe patch, or hood as Scarpa like to call it, on the top is another benefit, because this again adds to its technical credentials. But the fact that this rubber is as soft as it is, it's a really sticky compound. It doesn't interfere with the knuckles on your toes and doesn't act as a detriment to its comfort. The toe patch is also a benefit to trad climbers out there, particularly those who are climbing a lot of cracks, as it offers that bit more purchase and protection from the rock. And as a trad shoe in general, because of its comfort, it's suitable for that all-day use, be that on a mountain crag or whilst climbing on the gritstone, doing multiple routes at Stanage in a day. Whilst the Vapour S is competent and capable for sport climbing, you may want something with just a little bit more support if you're looking at doing something with exceptionally small edges and sustained edging on a vertical terrain where you're going to be putting a lot of weight consistently through your feet, because you may just want something that's got a little bit more support than this. Something we haven't covered already is the Nano strap, and this seeks to address one of the issues that you can potentially have with slippers, which is fit. Within a strap or lace-up shoe, you obviously have the ability to tailor that fit, courtesy of the system in place. However, within a slipper, you don't have any such thing. And the problem with that is that if they fit you, it's great. If they don't fit you, it's not great. And there's nothing in between. It's purely binary. The Nano strap's a potentially quite simple system to solve this issue. It's essentially just a piece of string, but quite a sophisticated one once you have a play around with it. There's a couple of differing ways you can use it, and what I've found in particular is that it helps me ratchet it on that bit more tightly when I'm using things like heel hooks and I want a really precise fit. But for 99% of the time, I haven't used it. The shoe fits me perfectly without, and on the whole for me, it's just been an unnecessary accessory. But for those who maybe sit within the margins of it fitting, I think this will actually be a real benefit, because it'll allow people to solve those grey areas of fit and give it a little bit more of a precision approach. But the one thing I would say is don't expect this to replace a strap. It is a little more basic. It is a piece of string, or a nano strap. Having used these now for a fair few months, one thing I can say is that they give a little, but not a lot. And again, I foresee later in their life, when they may be a little tired, using that nano strap a lot more. One thing that can sometimes be a problem when your slippers get a little too big is your foot moving around within the shoe. And to help compensate for this, Scarpa have used a leather footbed. Now this does mean they're not vegan friendly, but on the other hand does help to cement your foot in place, as the leather has the ability to absorb a bit of the foot's sweat. A lovely image. So going back to the introduction, I absolutely loved the Instinct slipper. It was one of my favourite shoes of last year. Potentially one of my favourite shoes of this year as well. But it's an undeniably performance-oriented shoe. And for those people who like the sound of that, but want something that's maybe a little more mellow, a little bit more of an all-rounder, the Vapour S is the perfect partner to this equation. I can actually see myself using these side by side, with maybe the Instinct S for project and the Vapour S for more circuits. But that said, I've just got back from a 2-week trip to Font, where I pretty much only used the Vapour S, irrespective of whether or not I was on an easy circuit or a project. It's got the ability to punch above its weight.